Hello, welcome to my video on the top 5 most surprising and top 5 most disappointing movies of 2021. Yeah, 2021 was quite a good year for movies. There were quite a few movies that exceeded my expectations, and then there were quite a few movies that disappointed me. Basically, the criteria for falling on either of these lists are which movies exceeded my expectations the most or which movies fell way below my expectations the most. So we're going to start off with my top 5 most disappointing movies of 2021. So coming in 5th place for most disappointing is going to be The Last Duel. Now, I went into this movie pretty excited because it had Matt Damon in it, had Ben Affleck, had Adam Driver, so some pretty good star power in there. Was written by Matt Damon and Ben Affleck, I believe, and the last time they wrote a movie won an Oscar with Good Will Hunting. So those things were going for it. Also had director Ridley Scott, I believe, going for it. Medieval setting. I like medieval sort of stuff. I like sword fights and stuff like that. So a lot of things were going pretty good for this, I thought. I didn't really know a whole lot about it, didn't really see trailers for it, so I kind of went in blind, I guess, but with my own expectations. And I walked out just kind of like, dang, that was just kind of boring, confusing, I guess. I honestly didn't really like a few of the leads. I didn't like the characters, and so I was expecting it to just be a really nice, well-crafted film, which it is. I'm not taking away from that. Like, it is very well crafted, but I was expecting it to be that plus a film I enjoyed, and I didn't really enjoy it. Number 4 for most disappointing of the year is gonna be Old, M. Night Shyamalan's new movie. Yeah, I saw trailers for this. I thought it was a pretty interesting concept. I saw a few familiar faces of people that I saw, but the main thing that made me super interested in this was M. Night Shyamalan. There are quite a few movies of his that I love. Like, I love Unbreakable, Split, Glass. Glass is probably top 50 favorite movies for me all time. I adore Glass. I love Signs. He did another one. Can't remember another one that M. Night did that I loved. But M. Night does some good stuff. Has really good twists as well, too. When he does them well, right? And so I believe Glass was his last film. And so I was like, oh, cool. New M. Night movie. Can't wait to see what the twist is for seeing how all these people are aging and stuff. And I watched the movie, and it's a garbage twist, garbage acting. It just an awful film. It is my pick for least favorite movie of the year. I did not enjoy Old at all. It's one of the few movies this year where I was sitting there watching it, just hoping that the movie would end. And honestly, I guess the only thing that kept me watching this movie was I just wanted to know what the twist was. And the twist was dumb, stupid. It had no prior setup, so it wasn't even a twist, I guess. But yeah, I had some pretty high expectations for Old, and yeah, it did not meet any of them. My third pick for most disappointing movie is going to be Venom, Let There Be Carnage. I'm a fan of the first Venom movie. Pretty casual fan. Like, I like it, but it's not one of my favorite movies, and I have fond memories of seeing that movie. I was kind of like, okay, yeah, I'm intrigued by this movie, seeing what the cast is like, seeing the direction they're going. The director, Andy Serkis. I don't know if I've seen another movie directed by him, but I like his work as an actor. Also, with all the delays, just naturally kept me wanting to see this movie longer. Then there's all this stuff like, ooh, is it a secret MCU film? How's this going to tie into stuff? And then the movie got released, and world premiere released, and there were a lot of rumblings like, oh, the post-credit scene's awesome, the post-credit scene's awesome, which the post-credit scene of this movie is awesome, probably the best one of the year. But this movie was it just moved way too fast for me. And I know that worked for some people, because it is only an hour and a half, so it just moved so briskly throughout the entire movie. I understand that worked for some people, but for me, I just thought it was too fast. I would have liked it to go slower, maybe push 2 hours, honestly. I think 2 hours, 2 hours 15 would have been better. But yeah, and then it just was kind of generic comic book stuff. Didn't really do anything different, didn't really, it's just generic comic book movie, I guess. So, number 2 for most disappointing movie of 2021 is gonna actually be Eternals. I know, right? An MCU film. Seems kind of sacrilege, I guess, on my part to put an MCU film on a disappointing list. But yeah, Eternals is very polarizing. It's like you love it or you hate it movie, it seems like. But for me, I'm very much in the middle of it. Like, I didn't love it, but I didn't hate it either. Like, I think there's some interesting things in there, but the storytelling aspect, confusing, I guess, a little clunky. But the, like, fantastical elements, I thought of it worked. The cosmic scale worked. The setup, I think, worked. And I liked most of the characters and stuff in this movie. A lot of big names, and then some lesser names that not quite as many people would recognize, but I did. So yeah, I enjoyed Eternals, but I was hoping, like, yes, this is going to be a great MCU film. It's going to give us a clear direction of Phase 4. But it really didn't, and so it disappointed me because the MCU's been on a real hot streak recently. But coming in at first place, and this was a very easy choice for me for my most disappointing movie of the year, and it's unfortunately going to have to be Halloween Kills. Halloween Kills was my most anticipated movie of 2021 for the entirety of 2021. This has been my most anticipated movie. Halloween 2018, one of my favorite horror movies of all time, single-handedly made me a Michael Myers fan, single-handedly made me like the Halloween franchise as a whole. Halloween 2018 is awesome. I love that movie to death. And so, naturally, I was like, yes, I want more of that. Like, I wanted a movie just as good as Halloween 2018, and I got a movie that is very enjoyable, but the story is pretty clunky. Halloween 2018 balances story, horror, kills, all the Halloween-isms you want, all the cool Michael Myers stuff, all the cool nostalgia stuff you want. Halloween 2018 does it perfectly. Halloween Kills it really drops the ball in the story aspect. There's a lot of things in the story that don't work for me. A lot of the nostalgia stuff with bringing back old characters really didn't work for me. This felt like cameos just because and doesn't really feel earned. However, there are good things about this movie. Like, I still think this movie's a good movie. Alright, now we're done talking about disappointments, we can start talking about my top 5 biggest surprises for the year. So coming in 5th place is actually gonna be Spiral. I'm a pretty casual Saw fan. I'd say I really like 1 and 2. I hate 3 so much. And then the rest are just pretty good. Or not pretty good, but they're enjoyable enough. They definitely have their issues. But yeah, so I'm a pretty casual Saw fan. And I hadn't seen any of them until Spiral came out. I binged them all so I could go see it with my dad opening night, because he likes the Saw movies. And so I binged them, and I was like, okay, haven't had a really good Saw movie for 6 movies now. This is just gonna be same old Saw stuff. But no, it was actually really dang good. But yeah, I enjoyed this movie. It has that same, it goes back to the roots in Saw 1 and 2 with the really weird crazy morality of John Kramer with the traps have something to do with something you did, and like to get out you have to do what you didn't do beforehand. And they're all winnable traps. It's just, do you have the will to do it, I guess. So it goes back to the first two, which I thought was really nice. And it really does distance itself from the other Saw movies. It feels like a soft reboot of sorts. Like, yes, it's still in continuity with the other Saw movies, but it feels disconnected. Then coming in at fourth place is gonna be Zack Snyder's Justice League. Yeah, the the 2017 Justice League is a pile of crap. And so when they announced that they're going to release an extended cut of a pile of crap, I was like, yeah, like I want to see more garbage. I'll give it a shot, because originally I wasn't going to do it. I was like, yeah, whatever, that's going to be dumb. But then I gave it a shot because I was like, okay, this is cool circumstances. And this movie is one of the best comic book movies to come out in a few years. Like, it's not the best, it's one of the best. Still love Infinity War and Endgame the best. But yeah, this is one of the best DC films ever released. Definitely the best of the DCEU, if you're asking me. Yeah, when I walked in with my expectations like it'd be 2017's Justice League, and I walked out with what awesomeness Zack Snyder's Justice League was, I was like, holy crap, this gives me faith in DCEU again, because the DCEU has had a really, really rough like time like setting up their universe and stuff, but Zack Snyder's Justice League really gave me confidence that DC could do a team up like Avengers. So coming in third place for most surprising of the year for me is going to be Malignant by James Wan. Yeah, this movie is in my top 5 for favorite of the year. Favorite horror movie of the year. Probably one of my favorite horror, like, unique horror movies, like, that's different from any franchise or anything's to come out in a while, like, in recent years. Yeah, I missed this movie in theaters when it came out in September. I didn't get to watch it until December, I believe. And yeah, I didn't remember the trailers or anything when I watched it. I was just like, yeah, this movie, I remember wanting to see this, but I don't know anything about it, I guess, because I don't remember the trailers. All I really knew is that it was James Wan who directed it, who directed the first Saw, first 2 Insidious, the first 2 Conjuring movies. So he's got a pretty good track record with horror movies. I was like, okay, James Wan, dig his horror movies, popped it in, and this movie just takes you on a roller coaster if you're a horror fan. There are so many things to love if you're into slashers like I am. Like, I love Friday the 13th, so this movie is a slasher. It's not like a slasher, it is a slasher. And yeah, I dug the slasher element, but then you get to that twist, and I was like, oh my god, that twist is so batshit crazy that it is awesome. Like, like you'll think you know where this is going, and then it just goes, boom, 180 degrees in the other direction. Like, I thought, I was like, okay, yeah, I think I have this figured out. That this is kind of generic, and then that twist is like elevated the movie so much to me. Like, it went from being mid-tier movie of the year to personally one of the best movies of the year for me. Our runner-up for most surprising movie of 2021 is gonna be Cruella. Yeah, I'm not the target audience for Cruella at all. Yeah, I usually don't go see Disney movies or movies that I feel are more aimed towards children. That's just not my thing, obviously. Um, so yeah, I was like, I'll skip this one. And I did skip it. I didn't. This is one of the few movies I elected to skip seeing in theaters initially. And then like a month or two went by, and there was like 1 week where nothing came out, and I was like, well, I kind of want to go see a movie. And I was like, Cruella came out, I'll give it a shot. And I saw it, and I absolutely loved it. It was really good. Like, Personally, I don't remember the 101 Dalmatians animated movie. I know I've seen it, but it's been probably like over a decade since I've seen it. So honestly, this is like fresh eyes seeing that franchise, I guess. Um, it was good. it wasn't. It was really great. I mean, the performances all around are great. Thought the story was really nice. It made you understand all the characters. All the characters were fleshed out. All have arcs and stuff. It does have some nice references to what's to come for the character of Cruella. But yeah, I had absolutely zero expectations. Thought I wasn't going to enjoy it at all, and I ended up really loving this movie. And that leaves us with first place, and it has to be No Time to Die, the latest James Bond movie. Um, Leading up to No Time to Die, I had seen zero of the James Bond movies, like all the way back to Connery era up to the most recent Daniel Craig one. And so I watched over the course of pretty much all September leading up to the first week or so of October when No Time to Die was released, watched all the Bond films. Didn't really care for pretty much all of them until I got to the Daniel Craig ones, and then I really dug Casino Royale, and I really dug Skyfall. Yeah. Thought Spectre was okay, and I didn't care for Quantum of Solace. So the James Bond franchise is not a franchise I would consider myself a fan of. But I do enjoy the Daniel Craig ones. Those are probably the ones I would rewatch if I'm going to rewatch Bond films. So I went into this movie very skeptical. I was like, ugh. Like, I don't think I'm gonna enjoy this. Like, I've only really liked a few of the movies. And so it's like, am I gonna enjoy this at all, pretty much? Like, I didn't think I was gonna enjoy it. I thought I was gonna sit in the theater for almost 3 hours and just wanting the movie to end, like dreading watching this movie. And I watched it, and it's one of my favorite movies of the year. Like, just everything about this movie worked for me. Like, the character arc of James Bond, all the side characters, like, you see all the cool spy gadgets he has, him interacting with people, him teaming up with another 007, that whole third act of him just, like, tearing through this compound is awesome. Some great action sequences, some really good well-timed humor. It's just really good. Probably one of the most emotional movies of the year for me. Like, I don't know. I just felt the emotions, I guess. I didn't cry, no. But I felt the emotions. But yeah, this movie's awesome. Like, I went in with expectations of that I was going to dislike it, and I ended up loving it. So, yes, No Time to Die is the biggest surprise I've had in a movie theater all year. I absolutely love No Time to Die. It's the only Bond film I've watched twice. Yeah, it is one of my favorite movies of the year, and it is my most surprising movie of 2021. Thank you for sticking around all the way to the end of this video. Over the next few days, I will be posting my top 10 worst of the year, top 10 best of the year, and then once we hit 2022, I will post my top 10 most anticipated movies for that year. Hopefully you enjoyed, and see you next time.